I am trying to eat.
Okay.
It's very simple. If you're a sheep herder and a snake is killing all your sheep, how do you get rid of the snake? Who's the sheep herder?
Can you talk?
What do you want?
What Grandma has there is saying that she's not renting to you, she's just temporarily letting you stay there. But you've already paid rent this month to the apartment still.
Yeah.
So you've already paid rent for this month. So that's still giving me 30 days to find another apartment
Yeah.
and not have to worry about paying anybody else rent because your rent's paid for this month.
Yeah.
So, but SSI doesn't have anything to do with this kind of stuff. All they do is pay you your disability. They don't have anything to do with your housing or
They said if I don't pay rent, then I get less money.
okay, well that is true. So, yeah, you have to prove that you're paying rent. So right now you're still good because you paid rent this month.
Yeah.
So next month, that's why you need to start looking for another apartment and getting signed up in that, and then you will call them and tell them that you moved and how much your rent is. But you also have to find out how much your voucher will pay and what your portion of the rent will be, you know? So there's steps in order that you have to take, and then you'll tell SSI, but they should send you some forms. Did you give them Grandma's address to mail all your paperwork to now?
No.
Oh. Well then, you need to make sure you keep checking your mail over there at the apartment for right
I
now.
don't have a mailbox key right now.
Oh, jeez. Because you're probably getting stuff in the mail over there at that apartment that you need.
And All Health is recertifying the certification.
What's that mean?
They're extending it for another 6 months.
Well, are you talking to a counselor over there?
I haven't had a counselor since before COVID started.
Well, if Our Health Network has you in their system, then they need to give you a counselor.
I don't want to be with All Health.
Oh. Well, right now, if they're still having you in their system, it might be a good time because they have a housing lady that can also help you look for an apartment and help you with some of this paperwork.
Well, Dr. Townsend almost killed me.
So don't talk about the Townsend. Ask to talk to your case manager and tell her you need to talk to somebody in the housing department to help you find another apartment.
I haven't been able to talk to anybody but Dr. Townsend. And all Dr. Townsend wants to do is put me on medication. I haven't gotten any treatment or any recovery whatsoever since he took over. And he keeps recertifying the certification because he says I'm gravely disabled. And then he also says that if he didn't recertify the certification, he's afraid that I wouldn't try and get treatment. He says that I would try and stop treatment. And then I said, well, the only reason I'm not getting any treatment is because Community Reach Center can't take the certification from other counties. And you keep putting this gravely disabled certification on me, which keeps me with All Health, and All Health hasn't given me any help for over a year and a half. And then I told Dr. Townsend, you should deserve to go to prison for attempted manslaughter and have your license revoked for malpractice for giving me a court-ordered monthly injection for 3 months straight that I was allergic to. And I said that I wanted to challenge the certification. And he said that I'd have to talk to the lawyer that he gave me. And I said, no, that lawyer plays golf with you on the weekends, and he refuses to do anything about anything. And I fired him. I fired the lawyer and I fired Dr. Townsend, but they don't give a shit. And I said, well, why am I on this certification? And he said, you're on this certification because you're gravely disabled. And I said, what does gravely disabled mean then, Dr. Townsend? And Dr. Townsend says gravely disabled means that you and your mental illness is interfering with you being able to live your life. And I said, well, if my mental illness is making me gravely disabled, why am I taking care of my apartment? Why am I taking care of my cat? And why am I taking care of my car? That's the total opposite of gravely disabled. And he said, well, I'm going to recertify because I'm afraid that you're going to stop treatment. And I said, Dr. Townsend, I've been in treatment since I was a kid in high school, and I've been seeking treatment this entire year and a half since before COVID started. And the only thing that's keeping me from receiving any treatment and recovery is you, Dr. Townsend, you and this certification. Because Community Reach Center can't do anything with me as long as this certification's in play. And All Health Network won't do shit. And the only person I can talk to is you, Dr. Townsend. And then he said that he was an appointment for me to meet up with him and the team or some shit. And I said, fuck you, Dr. Townsend. You've never even met me. I don't even know what you look like. Why the fuck are you in charge of all this shit? I fired you. I don't want to work with you. Do I need to get a restraining order on your ass because you are now harassing me after you tried to kill me? And I told him I don't want to be with All Health. And I don't want to be with you, Dr. Townsend. So get somebody else to handle my certification. You're fired. Get a different lawyer to handle the certification because he's fired as well. And get me a different fucking team so that we can get this certification off of me so that I can go back to Community Reach Center where they're not trying to kill me.
Oh, geez, what a mess.
I was like, Dr. Townsend, I've never even met your dumb ass. And he's like, well, I'm in charge. I said, no, you're not, Dr. Townsend. I am in charge of my treatment. I am in charge of my recovery. This is my life, not yours. You are not my father, and I am not your fucking slave. You did not buy me at an auction, Dr. Townsend. You do not own me. And I said, you aren't in charge of shit, Dr. Townsend. In fact, you work for me, and I fired you multiple times.
Well, that's all true.
What?
But you are in charge of your treatment.
I know, and that's what I keep telling him. This motherfucker is lunatic. I was like, dude, you cannot force me to be my doctor. If I do not want a doctor to be my doctor, you cannot force yourself upon me as a doctor. And I said, it's attempted manslaughter, first of all, to give me an injection that I am allergic to for 3 months straight. And it's also malpractice. And he said, well, I don't see it that way. And I said, Dr. Townsend, are you a lawyer? Did you go to law school? And he's like, no. And I said, do you know anything about law? And he said, I know a little bit about law, about the stuff that you have to know when you're a therapist. And I said, then what is attempted manslaughter? And he said, I don't want to get into it with you. And I said, fuck you, Dr. Townsend. Get the fuck out of my life. I don't even know who you are. I've never even fucking seen your face. And you have ruined my life for 1.5 years now. And I have all this shit recorded and on YouTube. And I was like, I have every right to refuse treatment from a doctor. If you are my certification holder and I do not want you to be my doctor, you are required to replace yourself with a different doctor. And he's like, well, the whole team says this and that you need to be. And I was like, fuck you, Dr. Townsend. I talked to Dr. Goya. And you know what Dr. Goya said? She said that there's no reason for me to be on any medication whatsoever. And she also said that she thinks that I need to get treatment for my PTSD, my trauma-based PTSD. And he's like, well, you don't have trauma-based PTSD. And I said, Dr. Townsend, Dr. Goya on my ACT team is the one that said that I have trauma-based PTSD. And I said, Dr. Townsend, do you have any authority whatsoever to diagnose me? And he said, well, I'm arguing with Community Reach Center about your diagnosis. And I said, well, you're also arguing with All Health and Community Reach Center about my diagnosis, because Dr. Goya and Community Reach Center both say that I have trauma-based PTSD and I do not need medication, and what I need is treatment and recovery and therapy. And I am not receiving any treatment and recovery and therapy because of you and you alone, Dr. Townsend. You and your stupid fucking certification. And I've talked to lawyers and shit, and they're like, well, whenever it's up in 6 months, whenever the certification ends in 6 months, you know, it'll be over. And I was like, no, dude, he just keeps recertifying it. Every 6 months. He just recertifies the certification. It's been a year and a half, and I've been on a 6-month certification for a year and a half.
You know how every year I go to summer camp? Well,
So are you on an ACT team now or what?
I'm not talking to anybody but Dr. Townsend. Community Reach Center, I went down to Community Reach Center physically myself because I was trying to talk to them on the phone and they just fucking kept hanging up on me or giving me a runaround or some shit. So I went down to the fucking place and I talked to them, and I went down there 3 times and I talked to them. And I said everything that's going on and what I need help with. And in order for me to go back to Stages Mental Hospital, I have to go to the walk-in center with Community Reach Center, and I have to get a referral from the walk-in center to go to the Stages Mental Hospital. So I go into the Community Reach Center walk-in center 3 times to get a referral, and they said that they can't even help me because I have a certification with All Health, and it's in a different county. And they can't accept other counties' certifications. And I went to Denver Mental Health as well. And I had a counselor for about a month. And she talked to me about 2 or 3 times, 30-minute sessions. And I ended up talking to her about bullshit. And then after the last time I went to the mental hospital, when those cops took me to the mental hospital after a fender bender and impounded my fucking car, they transferred me from whatever mental hospital they put me in all the way to the Aurora North Mental Hospital, because that's an all-health mental hospital, and then they said that I have to stick with all health, and that Denver Mental Health was dropping me so that I could be with all health, because all health has a certification. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I haven't had any fucking treatment or recovery for over a year and a half because of this fucking certification, which nobody thinks that I should be on in the first place other than Dr. Townsend and his best friend, the lawyer. Even Community Reach Center, when I was in Stages, Kelly and a whole bunch of others were talking to Dr. Townsend on the phone with on the speakerphone while I was sitting in the room. And Dr. Townsend ended up cussing them all out. He's like, you don't think there's anything seriously wrong with Vinny? And they said, no, we think he's a nice guy. We don't understand why this is happening to him. And he's like, oh yeah, well then you guys are crazy too. And he hung up. And they all looked at me and they're like, I don't understand why he's doing this to you, Vinny. This is terrifying. We've never seen this happen before ever in our entire career.
Okay, can I give you a suggestion?
What?
And see if this might help. Call our health network, the main number, whatever that number is, and say that you want to talk to the ACT team leader.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Every time I call every number from All Health, I immediately get put to a voicemail. Immediately. Every time. Whether I'm calling Dr. Townsend, whether I'm calling Dr. Goya, whether I'm calling the fucking grievance line. And I leave voice messages, and they never call me back, and I don't even think they're fucking listening to them. The second they hear my name, I'm sure they just delete it. The only person I can talk to is Dr. Townsend. Dr. Goya called me once, last month or so, just to tell me that she doesn't think I need to be on medication and that she thinks that I need to get treatment for my trauma-based PTSD. And I said, yeah, I agree. But I don't want to be with All Health as long as Dr. Townsend is even in All Health. Even if I had a different certification doctor, I still don't want to be with All Health because Dr. Townsend is in All Health. And I'd rather be with Community Reach Center where they're not trying to fucking kill me. And admittedly, Community Reach Center doesn't do shit, but at least they're not trying to fucking kill me because All Health doesn't do shit either. And Dr. Goya said, I agree. I don't understand why you're on this certification. It was supposed to be a 6-month certification. And I was like, and she's like, is there anything I can do for you? I was like, why don't you tell Dr. Townsend to leave me the fuck alone? And I've talked to lawyers. I've talked to NAMI. I've talked to all these people, and there's nothing anybody can do. Everybody says that their hands are tied. Even the police and the FBI said that they don't get involved with mental hospital and mental health shit.
Yeah.
And I have all these conversations that I've had with all these people recorded and on YouTube. And last time Dr. Townsend called me, I was at your house when I was over there. He called me and he asked, are you recording me? And I said, why the fuck does that matter, dude? Do you not want to be recorded? Are you afraid that you're going to get caught being a fucking lunatic? And he said, well, I'm just curious. I just think that both parties should know when we're being recorded. I said, yeah, you're being recorded. And he said, okay. Well, I'm recertifying your certification. I said, why? Why are you doing it another 6 months? Well, I feel if I take you off the certification, you're going to stop going to treatment. I said, I haven't been to treatment in a year and a half because of the certification. I've never even met the motherfucker. I've never even met him.
I've never met him either.
I've never even met the godforsaken cocksucking motherfucker. I don't even know what his ugly mug looks like.
Well, I just want to try and help you get another apartment right now, but there's steps that we need to do in order
I agree.
get the apartment, you know?
I agree. We've got to do one thing at a time, and it's got to be priorities. I agree.
Right.
I would appreciate some goddamn fucking counseling, but God forbid.
Right.
But yeah, I agree that we need to get myself a fucking house before we start messing with all this other stupid bullshit.
Right. So the first place you need to start is with the South Metro Housing lady.
I was about to send him an email after I was done eating my food.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm bothering you, but and then I would call Our Health Network and tell them you want to talk to us.
Every time I just told you.
Well,
every time
do you want me to try?
Yeah, go ahead. They're not going to talk to you.
No, they won't talk to me, but I can ask them to have the housing people call you.
I don't want to want to talk to anybody from All Health, tell you the truth, and also they won't talk to me, so fuck it.
Well, I think they might be able to help you with this apartment situation for right now.
Well, if Dr. Townsend finds out that I lost my apartment, that's just going to give him another goddamn reason to keep this certification on me. So I really don't want him to even fucking know about it, if I can help it.
Because I'm just thinking that the Our Health housing people.
What did
I heard you. I heard you.
I've been trying to get off this certification for a year and a half now. I don't want to give Dr. Townsend any more reason for him to keep it on me. Do you understand me?
Now let's just talk to the housing people and see what they tell you to do.
I called and left a message today.
Okay.
And I am going to leave an email when I was done eating.
Okay.
Now I am done eating because I was eating while I was talking to you.
Okay. Well, that's about all you can do for today then.